Mazuma TV back in the building, man. What's going on, y'all? Shout out to Mazuma Nation. Shout out to the Mazuma Mob. We in the building, of course, man. I hope everybody's having a blessed, beautiful, positive, productive day. On my way to go get it in this cold-ass weather, but regardless, we here, man. On the road to 2K. I think we hit 1,100, so if we did, yo, man, shout out to the nation, shout out to the mob for making this possible. Now, what I want to speak about is unfortunately Showtime and PBC pulling the plug on that December 9th card that was supposed to have Stanionis versus Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia versus Lara. And I don't remember exactly what fight was after that, but regardless, those were the two that stood out. And they're pulling the plug on it. So apparently they're going to have their last show December 16th, according to Boxing Scene. Shout out to this article that I was just reading. And it's going to be placed out in the Armory, in Minnesota at the Armory. So most likely we're going to see David Morrell on that card and all that good stuff. But, yeah, man, they're officially pulling the plug on that fight, man. It's unfortunate because those were a couple fights that I really was looking forward to seeing to close out the year, man. I don't know exactly why they decided to do so, but for one, I feel real bad for Stanionis. You know what I mean? I feel real bad for Stanionis because if you've been keeping up with Stanionis, he's been extremely inactive, but not by his own choice. You know what I'm saying? He was supposed to fight, I believe, Virgil Ortiz, like 3 separate occasions. And every single time, I think 2 times, it was because of Virgil Ortiz's health deteriorating, essentially. And Stanionis, I believe he needed to have some type of surgery or something. So that was a few setbacks in itself, and he was about to get the biggest fight of his career against a former unified world champion in Keith Thurman, who's also been inactive, but you know, he hasn't been able to do so, man. So I don't know if they're gonna take these exact fights and put them on a different platform, but as of right now, it is not happening on PBC. And it's not happening on Showtime, man. They decided to pull the plug. So that hurts a little bit for boxing, you know what I mean? Because as boxing fans, we want to see as many good fights consistently as possible. But I feel bad for Stanionis nonetheless, you know what I mean? In terms of Keith Thurman, this is something that was probably out of his control, you know what I mean? But I definitely don't feel bad for him. You know what I mean? A lot of his inactivity has really happened because of him. You know what I mean? It was his own doing. And he's admitted it at several interviews where he declined to fight during COVID because it seemed boring to him. And there was several fights that have been presented to him that he's turned down. So he's been doing this voluntarily for the most part. Like I said, this may have been out of his control, but for the most part, he's responsible for his own inactivity. He's pretty much semi-retired. And I was listening to this video about Keith Thurman, and it was a statistic that I never really paid attention to, but it's mind-blowing nonetheless. Since Danny Garcia in 2017, Keith Thurman has only fought 3 times. It is about to be 7 years, and Keith Thurman has only fought 3 times. That is insane to me. That's like a different level of inactivity. You know what I'm saying? It's about to be 2024. We like 2 months away. And it seems like because this card is being pulled, Keith Thurman's not fighting in 2023. You know what I mean? We really got to think about it. Since Danny Garcia, he had a long layoff. I think he took like 2 years off. For Josecito Lopez. Didn't look too good. He looked kind of slow. You know what I mean? He didn't look like himself. We chalked it up to ring rust. You know what I mean? We was like, oh, man, you know, he rusty. It's been a while since he gotten in there. You know, he just came off of an injury. Forgive him. So we gave him a pass. Goes up against Pacquiao, gets scorched. Gets schooled by the older man, by the vet. You know what I mean? Then he takes another layoff. I don't even know how long that layoff was. Comes back, fights what? Who was it? Mario Barrios? Was there somebody before that? Bro, I don't even know, bro. It's been that long. And Mario Barrios is coming off of a stoppage loss against Gervonta Davis. You know what I'm saying? First fight at 47 goes up against Keith Thurman. And there was points where Keith Thurman was struggling with Mario Barrios' jab. He was struggling. He had got hurt a couple times throughout the course of that fight. He did not look good, man. You know what I mean? This is all his own doing because Keith Thurman was at the top of the division at one point. He did this to himself, man. Him being arrogant and feeling like that he deserves this, and that. You know what I mean? It cost him. it cost him. You know what I mean? And this should be a lesson for all fighters that's coming up right now, man. Respect the game. You know what I mean? There may be some sacrifices you may have to make in order to remain relevant in the game or to stay active. But you know, you really got to do what you got to do in this business, man. And Keith Thurman is an example of, you know, just missing out on opportunities and stunning his growth. Because Keith Thurman could have been way bigger than what he was, should he have remained active. You know what I mean? If he would have remained active, who knows what Keith Thurman would have gotten done. Also, I hope this is a sign to Stanionis, although this isn't Keith Thurman's fault, that he should have fought Jaron Ennis. You know what I mean? The Jaron Ennis fight should have been there. You were saying that you were down to do it at one particular time. Then you go around and you say you need a tune-up before Jaron Ennis. Then you end up taking a guy who's not a tune-up in Keith Thurman, and then that fight gets pulled. I'm not saying it's karma. I'm sure you didn't have any ill will. I'm sure it was a business move on your part. But I don't know if that fight would have been canceled if you would have went up against a guy like Jaron Ennis. I think you would have gotten yourself in the ring and finally got some of that rust off if you would have fought Jaron Ennis. You know what I mean? That's just my personal opinion on the situation. In terms of Lara and Danny Garcia, that's unfortunate as well, man. I definitely wanted to see that fight. I wanted to see how Danny Garcia would deal with somebody like Lara. You know what I mean? And I wanted to see if Lara, how he would approach the fight, because Danny Garcia is a big puncher. He's a counter puncher, a pure counter puncher in all honesty. And Lara, as he's gotten older, he's been less mobile. He's been less mobile and more sitting down on his punches and throwing real heavy shots. You know what I mean? We've seen it against Spike O'Sullivan. I think Lara is in his 40s as of right now. So, you know, he's older. His legs aren't the same, obviously. So he had to adopt a new style. You know what I'm saying? So that would have been an interesting matchup as well. I would have had Lara winning in all honesty if he was anything like himself, but we'd have never known because Lara is a bit older now, and that may play to Danny Garcia's benefit. You know what I mean? So it's unfortunate, man. Showtime PBC is pulling the plug on that December 9th fight. Do you still want to see these fights happen in terms of Lara, Danny Garcia? Do you still want to see Keith Thurman and Stanionis? Or do either one of them just need to go see Boots, man? It's unfortunate what's going on with Boots, but I'm going to get into that in a different video, man. Until then, this is Mazuma TV. Shout out to the nation. Shout out to the mob for tuning in. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the like. Hit the subscribe. You know what I mean? Hit the bell notification to all so you know when I'll be going live and when I'm posting videos. I'm out of here, man. Peace.